I'm Hillary Mulick, a wedding photographer and educator, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking all about financial organization. Now, I have a workflow that I go through at the beginning of every month to help me on the financial side of my business so that at the end of the year, I can just print out the reports of things that I've been recording throughout the year and send them to my accountant, and taxes are super easy. There's no need to stress about taxes. So for all of these programs, I'm going to be listing them in the description below. I also wanted to let you guys know that I do have a link to all of these tools and more tools that I use behind the scenes in my business on my photographer resource page on my website. I'll link that down below as well. It is filled with everything that I do in my business behind the scenes, different programs that I use, as well as links for free trials and special discounts that you can get by using one of my links. So make sure to utilize that. All right, let's get started. So my financial organization takes place at the beginning of every single month, and it's a 4-step process. The first step is going through my budget for the month, and I use a program called YNAB. It's YNAB. It stands for You Need a Budget. I love this program. I use it for both my business and my personal life, and it breaks your budget into different categories. So there's all the fixed expenses, which are things that I have to pay every single month. So this is any monthly subscriptions that I have, monthly money that I need to set aside for second shooters or for my Instagram manager or for my virtual assistant. This is just monthly expenses that are set in stone that I need to pay every single month. And then the next category after the fixed expenses are what are called true expenses. So these are things that vary, that you might need to pay every month, or maybe it's just at one time a year. So I have a budget for office expenses, for postage, any film that I'm shooting I budget out for, any education that I am budgeting out for. And then I also have in there my annual subscriptions that I need to keep aware of. So any subscriptions that I have due at any month in the year, I have that in the true expenses category so that when I'm doing my monthly budget, I can look and see if I have any annual subscriptions that are due in that month. So after I go through YNAB and I categorize everything, put money where it needs to, save money where it needs to, the next step in my monthly financial planning is I go to a program called Quickbooks. Now, Quickbooks is where I categorize all of the expenses that have been made in my account already, and it gets put into categories so that they can be used as write-offs at the end of the year. Quickbooks is linked up to my bank account, and it automatically pulls in anything that is used with my bank card for my photography account. So I go through that list and I categorize each thing as, this is education, this is a business expense, this is a client expense, and I just categorize everything from the previous month. And then once I get that month done, then I'm done with the Quickbooks for the month. And it's really good to keep up on that because this Quickbooks report is super important for your accountant. I actually have my accountant has a special login to Quickbooks. So if you have an accountant yourself, I'm sure they use Quickbooks or are familiar with it. They can get their own special login to be able to look at your reports at the end of the year, and it makes taxes super easy for them. The third thing that I do in my financial planning for the month is I go into a program called Mile IQ. Now, this is an app that I have downloaded on my phone, and it basically tracks my miles of everything that I do for my business. And I can pull it up at the end of the month on my computer, and I can go through and look and categorize different drives as personal drives or as business drives. And anything that's categorized as a business drive, it calculates the mileage that was tracking on your phone while you were driving, and it calculates the gas that you were using. It basically just puts together a report so that that can be used as a write-off as well at the end of the year. So tracking your mileage for your business is super important. The very last thing that I do in my monthly financial planning is I pay my sales tax. Now, this is different from every state, but what I do is I go into my Honeybook, which is my client management system, and that's where I keep track of all of my invoices from all my clients. I print up my monthly report from the previous month, and it tells me how much sales tax was taken out of each invoice. And I go into my state website, which I live here in North Carolina, and there's a system in paying my sales tax through that. So I highly recommend having a client management system if you don't already, such as HoneyBook, so that you can really easily pull up those reports and it'll just say, here's the sales tax that you owe, and you can just go straight into your state website to pay that amount in sales tax. All right, so that is my monthly financial organization. Just to recap, I use YNAB for all of the business budgeting, QuickBooks for all the categorizing of the expenses that I've already made through my bank account. I use MileIQ to calculate all of my drives throughout the month. And then I log in and pay my sales tax by using HoneyBook to calculate how much sales tax I actually owe so that I can log in to my state website and pay that sales tax at the end of the month. So those are the 4 things that I do in my workflow. Again, if you are interested in any of these programs, I have special links that'll give you a free trial and discounts to each of these things. You just have to go to the link in my bio and it'll take you to my photographer resource page where you can see all the programs that I use behind the scenes in my business to help it running smoothly. I hope you guys have a really great rest of your day, and let me know if you have any other questions in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you on my next YouTube channel.